Lovely. So we're going to start today standing, as we always do. Today's a short, sharp session of sports yoga, and we're going to be looking at things around the hips, really. So strengthening into the hips, but also around spinal extension. So extension is the opposite of the shape that we often send our body into in modern life. So rounding into the shoulders, whether that's on our phone, car, TV, computer or piano. So a really good one, and particularly if you're a cyclist. So a cyclist, you see them like this. So a lot of these things will be particularly helpful if you are into your cycling. However, as with all sports yoga, it's sensible range of movement, so it'll be good for you. If you are somebody who moves, then it'll be helpful stuff for you to do. So yeah, moving around into the soles of your feet, rising up, bringing back, lovely. And then from here, breathing into lift, and then sitting back on the heels. Lovely, breathing in and sitting back. Lovely, last one. And back. And then bringing the left toes behind, left arm reaches over, reach across the side, left side of the body, and then moving through to the other side. Lovely, one more time on each side. Oh, already noticing little creaks into my body. Good morning, body. So chin to the chest, we're going to roll down. You can choose whether to roll straight down or whether to find a little bit of a shimmy side to side. Let the knees be soft. And then we're going to restack once we get to the bottom, rolling back up, bone by bone. Lovely, take your time. Release to gravity. Seeing if we can get every single bone to move, or the idea of every single bone moving. This stuff does take practice. Lovely. No rush, but when you're ready, we're going to make our way down to lying. So chin to the chest, with as much or as little dignity and control as you wish. We're going to make our way down to lying on our back. Lovely. I like to bring the soles of the feet onto the floor here because I can then breathe a bit more fully into my diaphragm. There's a link between the hip flexors and the diaphragm. So bringing the soles of the feet there can be quite nice. And we're going to interlace the fingers, bring them to rest underneath the head. Take a breath in here. And on the out breath, no crunch, shoulders stay down. We're lifting the chin to the chest using the hands. Lovely. Head is heavy. And then the head comes back, elbows wide. And then elbows together, chin to the chest. Lovely. So we start to go the stretch across the back of the neck, tops of the shoulders, in between the shoulder blades. It is all connected. Really nice. Make this one the last one, no rush. And then hands can come to wherever's comfortable. Belly, floor. Feet walk a little bit wider, so about mat distance apart if you're using a mat. Let the knees drop to one side. And then breathing in as they come through center and breathing out as they come to the other. Let's do a couple more there. So over to one side. As we breathe in, we bring the knees back into the center. As we breathe out, they drop to the other. Lovely. So work at your pace of your own breath here. If I'm talking too fast or too slow, work at the pace that your breath is guiding you in. Lovely. When you've done the same amount on both sides, no rush. I'm going to bring knees into the chest. So from here, notice hands onto the knees. As we breathe in, knees come away. And as we breathe out, knees into the chest. Breathing in, knees away. Breathing out, knees to the chest. Lovely. As we breathe in, we notice that the lower back starts to lift. As we breathe out, lower back automatically starts to flatten into the ground. One more here. And we're going to explore that same relationship with the breath, with the movement, with the lower back, but with the soles of the feet onto the floor. Lovely. So just reach down. You can just about feel the backs of the heels with the fingertips, not super close in towards the bum. And we're going to breathe into arch. Lift the lower back only as if we want to slide a hand under. And on the out breath, we flatten, squashing that hand. Lovely. Breathing in to arch the lower back, breathing out, flattening down. So tiny, tiny movement just into the rocking the pelvis forwards and backwards, basically. This time, same but different. Breathing in, we arch. Exhale to scoop and then press into the feet, lift the hips. Lovely. Placing each vertebrae down one at a time. Really nice. Inhale to arch, exhale, scooping, and then keep that scoop. So we're using the glutes rather than hinging through the lower back. Lovely. Last one here. And then placing each vertebra down, one at a time. Legs lengthen, arms above the head. Let's reach through the right side. Right hand reaches away from the right toes. Left hand reaches away from the left. Lovely. Movement through one side and then through the other. And notice how the hips start to move in the middle. From here, knees into the chest. We can rock and roll. We can come to the side. We're going to make our way up to seated. So if we're rocking and rolling, this is a lovely opportunity. 1, to embrace your inner 3-year-old. How often can you do that? And 2, to massage all the way along the back of the body. Really exaggerate that rounding. Lovely. So as the feet come down, as we breathe in, we're going to turn the ribs and then the hands come down. Lovely. Breathing in, turn the ribs, and then the hands come down. Lovely. So we start to move, spiraling into the spine rather than just moving into the shoulders, which we can sometimes do when we're twisting without even realizing it. Lovely. This time, right hand comes down, left arm reaches up, press up, and then reaching over. So we're not trying to come down as far as we can. We're getting the ribs up towards the sky. Lovely. And then over to the other side. So left hand down, press to lift, and then ribs over to the side. Lovely. Couple more breaths there. You might want to just find a little bit of a wave with the breath. And then we'll move between those 2 points. So the right hand down, left arm lifts, left hand down, right arm lifts. Awesome. Let's do one more on each side. Your own breath, your own time. And then we're going to change our relationship with gravity. So hands can come down, knees underneath the hips, and into all fours. Spread the fingers wide. Lovely. From here, we might want to come forwards, backwards, side to side. This is quite a strong angle to send the wrists into. It's kind of full flexion into extension into the wrists. We spend our time like this, sending the wrists in the opposite direction. So if it feels strong into the wrist, we can bring the hands forwards a little bit, move side to side. We can start to circle around, give the wrists a little bit of love. Lovely. And then when you're ready, send the attention to the lower back. See if we can keep the ribs where they are. Lower back only lifts, and then scooping the tailbone down. I bring my hand onto my ribs to give me feedback into my own body here, just to make sure that the ribs aren't joining in without me even realizing. Lovely, tiny, tiny movement just into the pelvis, exactly the same as what we were just doing lying down. This time we are in all fours. Lovely. This time, as we breathe in, we can start to drop the belly, send the heart to the front, and then rippling through the spine. So rather than, what can often happen here is just hinge into the shoulders and into the hips. Let's see if we can find that ripple all the way up, bone by bone. Really slow it down. If you find that this is too easy, slow it right down, even slower. Lovely. And you may well be able to hear in the background today, there's loads of helicopters, RAF helicopters flying over my house today for some reason. So you may be able to hear that in the background. Lovely. We're going to send the right knee into the nose, and then the right leg can come up behind. Scooping, right knee in, and then out. And then that right foot can come to the outside of the right hand as we circle around one direction, circle around in the other. Lovely. When you're ready, both knees down, knees wide, toes together, sit bones to the heels as we find a stretch. So options here in our child's pose. If we've got the hands forwards, just explore bringing the fingertips onto the ground, palms lift. Might find a little bit of space under the arms here, stretching there. Lovely, and then gently come back into the center, knees back underneath the hips. Let's circle the hips in both directions. Lovely, and then we'll come through to that movement on the other side. So beginning with that tiny, tiny movement into the lower back, and then let that travel all the way up the spine. Connect that movement ideally with the breath. Bone by bone, vertebra by vertebra. Don't try and say that one too quickly. Lovely. And when you're ready, left knee into the chest, left leg can come back. So we're looking to bring it in line with the hip rather than lifting that leg super high. You see there, if I lift my legs super high, I start to dip through my lower back. We're using strength here rather than flexibility. And then that left leg can come out to the outside of the left hand. And we can start to circle around in one direction, circling around in the other. Polite conversation territory with the body. First aid. Lovely. And then bring the knees wide, toes together, sit bones to the heels. Let's walk the hands to one side. Really nice. You can have your hand on top of the other hand, or you can keep them shoulder width. It's up to you. And then both hands to the other side. Again, choose where you want to place the hands. Let's do one more on each side. So if you're looking just for a general warm-up into your body, then you can stop the video here. This is a really nice way just to kind of send the spine in all sorts of different directions. And that will do you nicely as a kind of starter. From here, we're going to warm up the body. So even more. Stepping, walking, jumping to the top of the mat, rise with a flat back. And on the out breath, we fold. Press down into the feet, lifting tall, reaching the hands up high, stretch, 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 and then hands down by the side, lovely. So we're going to breathe in, the arms lift. Breathe out, we swan dive. So we lift the hips out rather than just dumping down. Lovely, breathing in to lift halfway, hands can slide up to the knees. And then hands down, feet back, finding our plank. Lovely option to have the knees down. We're going to lower all the way onto the belly. From here, hands lift away. So we find our skydiver. Lovely. Hands under the shoulders, pressing back. Maybe through child's pose, tuck the toes under. Sit bones, lift, downward facing dog. And let's really feel our way into this downward facing dog. So we can pedal through the feet. We can shake the head no, nod the head yes. Shift the hips side to side. So rather than trying to force the body into a shape, get the shape to fit your body. Ease into it. Lovely. Stepping, walking, jumping to the top of the mat. Rise with a flat back. Hands to the knees. And then on the out breath, we fold. Press down into the feet as we lift. Hands above the head. And hands by the side. Lovely. Let's do this some more. Breathing in. Breathing out to fold. Breathing in, lift halfway. Hands down, feet back, find plank. Lower as you wish, knees down or knees lifted. And then ease the elbows away. Lovely skydiver, hands under the shoulders. Let's press back into downward dog. And again, if it feels good here, move. If it feels better to be still, be still. Lovely. In our downward dog, see if we can forget what's happening to the heels. So often we're trying to force the heels down and we end up rounding into the back to get there. Let's lift the heels, bring the belly onto the thighs and find length through the spine. Lovely. From the hands all the way down to the tailbone. Really nice. We're going to step or walk or jump to the top of the mat, rise with a flat back, and on the out breath we fold. Press down into the feet, lifting tall. And hands by the side. Lovely. From here, bend the knees, find chair. If it feels like you're bunching into the shoulders, bring the arms wider. Lovely. Hands into the chest. Let's tap to one side, doesn't matter which one, and then over to the other. See if we can get the thumbs into the chest so it becomes a spinal rotation rather than shoulders. Really nice. And we've done the same on both sides. Left foot back, left knee down, left hand down, right arm lifts. Lovely. Right hand down, left arm lifts. Swap around one more time on each side. Really nice, guys. Both hands down, both feet back. Find plank. Lower as you wish. Find the lift. Skydiver. Hands under the shoulders. Press back into downward dog. Right leg lifts. Right foot to the top of the mat. Use the hands to get there if we want to. And we rise. Hands onto the shoulders. Let's find that twist to one side. Twist through to the other. Lovely. One more time on each side. Really nice, guys. That's lovely. Hands onto the hips. Let's side reach. Side reach to the other side. Should we do one more on each side, just for luck? Really nice. Hands come down. Feet step back. Downward dog. Pedal through the feet. Move into the head, the neck. Lovely. We're going to step, walk, jump to the top of the mat. Rise with a flat back. On the out breath, we fold. Bend into the knees. Chair pose. Lovely. Notice what's happened to the tailbone lifting up, lovely. Let's move through that again, breathing in. And let's find a twist. To one side and to the other. Lovely, guys. Notice if the knees start to join in as well. See if we can keep them where they are. Lovely, both hands down. This time right foot back, right knee down, right hand down, left arm lifts. Moving through center, right arm lifts. Use the breath. So we breathe in, both hands down, breathe out, one arm lifts. Lovely. Literally sounds like those chocolates are going to land in my house. It's insane. Both hands down, both feet back, and we lower. Really nice. My lights are shaking. Skydiver, hands under the shoulders, downward dog. And we pedal, we move. This time left foot lifts, left foot to the top of the mat. And we rise, hands onto the shoulders. We can twist to one side, in through center, twist to the other. Let's do one more time on each side. Really nice, guys. Find our side reach. Side reach to the other side. One more time on each side. That's better. You can hear the pigeons again. Both hands down, both feet back. And lifting the sit bones, downward dog. Shake the head no, nod the head yes. Let's pedal through the feet. Lovely. From here, walking to the top of the mat, rise with a flat back. On the out breath, we fold. Bend into the knees, chair pose. Lovely. And then press into lift. Right leg lifts. Right foot steps back. Let's find our warrior three, Superman. So this is Superman just as much as this. And then that right foot can step back. Lovely. Let's turn the hips to the side of the mat. And bring both hands down, heels out. We're going to twist to one side. And then twist to the other. Lovely. One more time on each side. Really nice. From here, heels in, toes out. Bend the knees, breathing in to lift up. And exhaling, elbows out to the side. Really nice, breathing in to lift. And we're looking to sink down rather than back. Lovely. Breathing in and out. Awesome. Last one. Lovely. So breathing in, the arms lift, right toes to the top of the mat, left foot in line with the back. Reach forwards as far as you can. When you can't reach any further, we hinge. Option to have the hand onto the lower back. That's a really nice option. Option to have the fingers behind the ears, elbow lifts. Lovely. One more breath here. And then bend into that right knee. Elbow can come onto that right knee as we bring the left arm across the side of the ear. Lift the back heel. Turn the hips towards the front of the mat, hands onto the shoulders. I'm going to walk my left foot in a bit, and then bend that back knee. Lovely to hover. Going to hover, use the breath, come to a hover. Next time that we breathe in, we're going to press the arms forwards. Straight line from the fingertips to that back heel, hands into the chest. Let's bring the left elbow onto that right knee. Lovely. Step the back foot, left foot comes to join us at the top of the mat. Lovely. Notice which elbow is in contact with that knee. That knee is the one that's going to lift. As we unhook the elbows, right leg lifts, finding our warrior three. Lovely. Really nice, guys. And then bend the knees coming into chair. Awesome. We're going to do the same, coming back the other way. Left leg lifts. Left foot steps back, finding Superman. Left foot back. Lovely. Toes out. No, toes in, heels out. That's it. Both hands down. Let's find that rotation. Again, option to have the hand onto the lower back rather than bringing the arm all the way up. Feel your way through it. And then heels in, toes out. Bend the knees, breathing in. And sitting down. Lovely. Breathing in. And out. Awesome. Last one here.
This time, left toes to the top of the mat, right foot in line with the back. Reach forwards and then hinge. Same options, hand to the lower back, fingers behind the ear. Bend into that front knee. Right arm reaches across. Lovely. Let's lift that back heel, hands to the shoulders as we drop the back knee. Breathing in and breathing out. Lovely, last one here. And then power through that back leg, reach your arms forwards. Awesome, hands into the chest, right elbow onto that left knee, and we spiral round. Really nice. Back foot comes to join us. Notice, so it's the left leg that's in contact with the elbow. We're going to lift that left leg up. Lovely, Superman. And then both feet down, elbows. Really nice, lovely. So we should be feeling nice and warm into the body now. Have water as you need to, throughout, of course, not just now, but throughout. We're going to make our way down to lying, so chin to the chest in your own time. We can roll through, or we can just lie down, of course. Then make our way to lying on the belly. Lovely, so from here, back to the hands onto the ground. Chin onto the ground. On an in-breath, we're going to press into the hands and lift the shoulders away. Lovely. Heart comes down. Breathing in to lift. Notice if there's a tendency to want to throw the head forward, stick the chin out. So if we can keep the neck in line and then lowering down. Let's do one more there. On the in-breath, we lift. We find that squeeze between the shoulder blades. Lovely. Bring the left arm out. We're going to roll to lying on the side. Just check in, can you see your toes? If you can see your toes, you're doing some kind of banana shape with your body. Let's see if we can get the body into a straight line. We're going to find that point where we can feel the lift underneath the left ribs. Lovely, breathing in to soften the belly and breathing out, slamming on the abdominal wall. Let's do one more there, breathing in and exhaling. Lovely. We should still be able to breathe here whilst keeping that engagement. Keep that lift into the under ribs, and then we lift the right leg and then down. So smaller and slower is better here. We're not looking for big expansive movements. You might want to feel for a moment what happens when you do that big movement. The higher your leg comes up, the more we lose that gap underneath the ribs, underneath the waist, and it sends the movement into a different muscle group. Lovely, we're going to circle here. So what happens in my body is it goes, whoa, no problem, I can do that. And my ribs and my hips start to go, yeah, rodeo. No, that's not what we're looking for. No, Esther's body, that's not what we're looking for. So we're seeing if we can do this without the ribs or the hips moving. So it's just concentrated into that teeny tiny muscle group on the outside of the legs. Lovely. Circling around in the other direction, nothing else moves. Hard as that might feel, some of you guys, easy peasy. For me, not so much. Lovely. And then rolling onto the other side. So right arm lengthens out. I'm going to do my yogi break dance. Carpet burn on the tummy. Lovely, right arm out. Again, find that lift in the waist. Check down if you can see your toes, see if you can bring them out of the way. And you might want to have this right arm down, or you might want to put the head up, doesn't matter. And we're going to breathe in to soften, breathe out. Lovely, abdominal wall slams on. One more breath there, breathing in and exhaling. Lovely. Left leg can lift now and then down. Tiny, tiny movement. Smaller and slower is better. Really nice. So just because your leg can come up higher doesn't mean that that's what we're doing right now. This is not about flexibility. This is about strengthening and stabilizing, which is those teeny tiny movements to really target specific muscles, which I'm sure some of you guys will be feeling now. Ah, hello, outer hip. Really nice. We can start to circle the leg. Again, notice any tendency for the rest of the body to go, no problem. Woo! See if we can keep everything else fixed. This is not a party for the ribs or for anything else. This is just a party for the outside of the hip. Those stabilizing muscles, really nice.
When you're ready, rolling onto the belly, hands under the shoulders, knees wide, toes together, and sitting back towards the heels. So some people, this really isn't comfortable. Sometimes that's to do with the tops of the feet. Sometimes that's to do with the hips. If that isn't where feels right for you, if the hips are hovering, we can bring the forearms down as well. That's always an option. With this is wide knee, so we start to get into the groin. So we start to open up into that space in the groin. Lovely. And then from here, we're going to press into downward facing dog. Lovely, tuck the toes, sit bones lift. Let's step or walk to the top of the mat. Rise with a flat back. On the out breath, we fold. Press down into the feet. From here, left toes onto the ground, right toes lift, and we point and we flex. Lovely, we can circle round. Hello ankle, hello backs of the calf, front of the shin, ripple effects all the way around this space. Lovely. And then onto the other foot, right foot down, point and flex, point the toes. Oh, I can feel that today. That's funny, isn't it? If I really exaggerate the pointing. Wowzers. Hello, back of the calf. And then we can circle round. So every time, this is what I love about it, every time we come here, different conversation going on with the body. And you notice like, no way. Who knew I was feeling that there today? Lovely. We're going to bring left foot back and frame that front knee. We're going to bend into that right knee and then straighten, bending, and then towards straight. So rather than kind of locking out, trying to force it into straight, just towards the opposite direction, finding range of movement. Lovely. This time as we come towards straight, send the awareness into the lower back. We're going to lift the tailbone and then scoop it down. Tiny movement, exactly the same as what we played around with earlier. Lovely, just different relationship to gravity. And we pause. So we should be feeling this into the belly of the hamstring here, into the back of the leg. Lovely. And then coming forward, so let's do the same on the other side. So this time, left foot, right foot steps back. Frame the knee, one hand above, one hand below. Bend the knee forwards and back, and forwards, back. Last time forwards, last time back, and then lift the tailbone and then scooping down. Lovely, teeny tiny movement, almost imperceptible, but you can feel it. You can feel that kind of lengthening up and then softening. This time as we lengthen up, we can pause, feel it into the belly of the muscle. Lovely, and then step forwards. We're going to make our way down to lying. So, knees into the chest, right knee in, left foot onto the floor, left hand behind the thigh, right hand onto the lower leg, and we bring the heel down, and then we lift the heel up. Lovely, use the breath, heel down, breathing in, we lift. Lovely, next time that we lift the leg up, we can pause. See if we can keep that knee hugged in as close towards the ground as possible. Hand onto the calf, the ankle, maybe the big toe, maybe onto the arch of the foot. You choose, none of it's better, just different. Lovely, and then swap the legs around. So left knee now into the chest, right hand behind the thigh, left hand onto the lower leg. Heel towards the sit bone and then heel towards the sky. Lovely. Breathing in, out and breathing in to lift. Last one here. And we pause. See if we can keep that leg hugged in. Lovely. And then slowly releasing. Hug the knees in towards the chest, arms out wide. And let's drop the knees to one side. Pause for a moment for that spiral into the spine. See if we can keep the shoulder down onto the ground. And then slowly, slowly use the muscles to draw everything back into the center and roll to the other side. Lovely. So come on to the outside. By hugging the knees in closer, we come to the outside edge of the hips a bit more. Lovely. Knees into the chest. Let's find our way up to seated. Let's do a bit of rocking and rolling again. Or knees to the chest and then roll to the side. We're going to bring the legs wide. So a lot of people struggle with this.
with this movement, because they're kind of rounded into the body. So as soon as you try and fold forwards, it's like quite uncomfortable. So we're going to lift up the sit bones, send those behind us. We can bend the knees as much as we want to here as well. It's always an option. And again, I've talked about this before, not on this session, but the idea of lifting up and out, drunken sailor, if that means anything to you. So rather than here, you see where that moves to in my spine, kind of mid spine here. We're going to lift up and out. Lovely. Really nice. Soften the knees. Lovely. And see if we can inch forward. So breathing in to lengthen and breathing out to come forward a little bit more. Again, notice if we start to jut the chin out, let's keep the head relaxed, neck relaxed, and the gaze is in line with where our head is rather than punching into neck. Lovely. One more breath here. Awesome. And then let's bring our soles of the feet together. So again, this can be a challenge for some people. I did my case study with my husband for my sports yoga training, and this was one where it was really noticeable, the difference. I think if you don't, obviously you're not going to take photos of yourself doing some of this stuff, but it's one of those where you don't even realise what's going on sometimes over weeks, months that you might practice, and years that you might practice. So for some of us, heels really close in, and we can send the knees down. That might feel nice. For others, the feet are further away. For some, we might want to reach forwards. For some, it feels nice to have the hands behind the back of the body and to press down and lengthen. So again, find where it feels good. Maybe gently butterfly the knees wherever we are. Lovely. And we breathe. And then release to gravity. We're not trying to force anything. Maybe just try 10% less. Let the body get to where it gets to. Really nice. From here, we're going to bring the hands onto the knees, draw the knees back into the center, and make our way down to lying. So I'm going to stop the video here for the recording. You can stay in your recovery for as long as you wish. Put on whatever Enya or death metal or whatever floats your boat, and take a few breaths. This is your opportunity for the body to absorb on a very literal level everything that you've just done. See if you can start to lengthen the out breath, whatever position you find yourself in your relaxation.